Alright, so first I want to start by saying Kalalal Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of James Graham Stone. Salutation to you, Hakim out there pushing this truth in sincerity, the full lek. Shalom. This is Brother Kanan from James Jamaica once again with another lesson. And in this lesson, it's going to be all about counting the costs. And I'm just going to get into the scripture real quick and then we're going to have a discussion on it, or going to, just get into some let's get into scripture basically. So this is Luke 14 and verse 27, right? And it says, "And whosoever doth not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple." All right, and that's a plain and straight um, saying. If you're unable to bear your cross and go after Yahushai, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you cannot be his disciple. You know what I mean? That's just plain and straight. So let's continue. For which of you intend for which of you intending to build a tower sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether ye have sufficient to finish it? So which of you are going to build a tower, as scripture says, or a house, or whatever you're going to build, or even go at war? I think the scripture is going to go into that also. Let's continue. All right, which one of you going to do that without first analyzing what this will take to build, getting your estimation or doing a calculation to see what it's going to cost you to build this? Let me continue. All right. It says, less happily, after he hath laid the foundation, you start it, and it's not able to, and is not able to finish it. All that behold it begin to mock him. So people gonna see you and they're gonna what? Mock. Right? Saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish. Or what king, so that's an example there. So this is the next part. What king going to make war against another king, sitteth not down first and consulted whether he be able with 10,000 to meet him that cometh against him with 20,000? Or else, while the other is yet a great way off, Salakia, he sendeth an ambassage and desired conditions of peace. Right? All right, so let's continue. It says, so likewise, whosoever he be of you that forsaketh not all that he hath, he cannot be my disciple. And it went down and said that. All right, so it comes down to it. If you're unable to forsake everything, you're unable to be the disciple of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And that is the cost. The cost is everything. Right? The cost is you putting in everything, making that sacrifice. And that sacrifice includes your life. Yahushua became a sacrifice for the elect of the house of Israel, and eventually the entire house of Israel, because the entire house of Israel is an elect, but there's an order in which it is done. There's a first fruit, and then there have others that will come after. All right? And he made that sacrifice. And we are also asked to do the same in giving our lives for him. And he will protect us. So whether or not we will die, um, basically going through the death, that is the requirement. You counting, okay, if it takes that, then that is what it is. All right. So, yes, let me just put this out there now. So, because we're living in society and society is keeping, let's put it that way. You have to go to work. You have to, if you have family, you have to take care of families, or you have other things doing. You have to be balancing. But again, what comes first? The priority, counting the cost, which is what? You gaining salvation and you putting everything into gaining salvation. All right? So, come as be need or come as be may or come as may, whatever, um, you are supposed to be ready to lose everything. You are supposed to be ready to lose everything. No, we fight um, many times to an extent sometimes that it wears us out. And I mean, sometimes we are fighting the wrong battle, right? We're fighting battles to basically, you know, keep ourselves going with society. Sometimes it wears or wear and tear in the sense and a spiritual aspect. And that shouldn't be the case because we should be ready to accept. I'm not saying that we should not fight, but it should not be a fight in the sense where it's wearing and tearing us from the truth, or you're depleting, or you're not growing or exceeding in the truth. I mean, that's a no-no in this doctrine. I know many a times we fall short on that, but we have to pick ourselves up and renew ourselves because it's an obstacle course that we have to overcome eventually. Now, I mean, no one is perfect, all right? But just to put it out there and try to edify someone, even myself, what I mean? We have to start balancing or start to think less upon fighting to to stay afloat in society. We have to care less about society and about the things that we have to do in society to continue. You know what I mean? So not saying that you should not care any at all, but care less where it's not basically um, destroying you in other aspect, which is salvation, because the ultimate aim and goal is what? Salvation. And if you had failed and not getting salvation on this side, then you fail overall. Whatever would have taken or caused for you to fail, it's a failure. So you wouldn't have count the cost properly, because if you account the cost, meaning everything in your life, you know that that's how important it is. And I mean, putting everything aside for this knowledge and for salvation. Now I have a few more scriptures, you know. So this is Second Ezra 14 and verse 13. It says, "Now therefore set thine house in order, and reprove thy people. Comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption." It says, "Let go from thee mortal thoughts, cast away the burden of man," right? "Put off now the weak nature, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times." All right, so take your mind off the situations that you are going through and think about what? Salvation. Put aside a lot of the things that we're focusing on and focus on salvation, because at the end of the day, once you gain salvation, you win. You would have won. You're a winner. But if you failed getting salvation, then the job would have been failed. You failed. And we don't want to be failures. No, we know that it is not in our power for us to, you know, to say how we're going to pass or fail or not. It's in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. But these are the attributes and these are the ways that we would have to adapt to and learn to for us to actually reach salvation and to get that salvation, which is what? Having faith in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, you know what I mean? And having faith, I mean that you know that the power is going to protect you, because it's not in your power to make things right on this side in certain extent. You know what I mean? So fight the word fight, and sometimes you have to lose to win. Sometimes you have to lose to win. And this is exactly what we have to do. We have to lose to win. We have to lose sometimes the fight to win the battle or to win the war. And this war that we're basically going against is what? The society. Not because society is out there to do everything for us not to make salvation. That's what it is there for. It's an obstacle course at this present moment for us to be distracted or to be in are drafted into the world, or to be sucked up um, by a daily life. So more tribulation. You going through family crisis. You going through job situation. You going through whatever you have to go through, which is your cross, to basically to make it to the kingdom. to getting salvation. But going through all of that, you have to keep your eye on the price, and the price is salvation. So that's why I say it's put aside some of these things, or these things basically that are being heavy unto you, and focus, because Yahushua sees what you're going through. He's creating the obstacle course, right? And he's making sure that you are basically getting ready for salvation. Are you going to make it to salvation? So if you focus on him, he's going to give you what is needed to pass, because you are now putting your burden on him, the cross. You're giving him the cross to bear for you. So you've given up on life in a sense to get life. You're losing your life to gain life, and that's what the scripture is speaking on. And I mean, we have to find ways how to balance it, you know what I mean? Because again, you have to eat. But again, if you're the Lord would feed you. So it comes down to that just the same. But we do what we do to survive and to sustain. And I mean, it come to the test where it's gonna basically, you know, in the anything else, you have to make a decision. Or you have to find ways how to balance it, and to basically keep growing and not to be stagnant, or not to lose your focus or to lose your way. So you have to keep counting the costs. These are things on the table. This is what I have. Um, how am I going to pay this off? All my, which is your, as I said, it's your life, everything, everything, family, your life. When I once you say your life, everything comes under that, because you're without you having life, then you have nothing. So everything, and Paul said he gave everything, he count everything lost for Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.